It's Sandra Pike from Lepage Atlantic and the Pike Group. And today we are going to talk about the winter market that's coming into the spring market here in Halifax of 2023. However, before we get into things, I would like the panel to introduce themselves. And Daun, we'll start with you first.
Hi, my name's Dauphinee and I'm part owner of Domus Realty in Halifax. I've been selling real estate for 15 years. I have 4 children and I love what I do.
Awesome. And Glen, yourself?
Glen Musgrave, Lepage Atlantic, Musgrave Realty Group. I too have been selling real estate for about 15 years. It'll be 16 in April, actually.
Wow.
What we do as well, and that's what keeps us going, right?
I'm just the young, and then I'll be 13 years this July, so I got to keep up to the old timers. So I printed off some stats the other day, and just to get your opinions of what you think of the market and where we're going to. And the market has softened quite considerably, since this time last January, and even when I look back in 2020, there were like 300 homes sold. And here in 2023, there has been only 151 homes that sold in January. And, we had the pandemic where we saw houses that were all selling over asking. And now, out of 151 homes that just sold right here, January, 96 of those homes, so that I think works out to be about 64, so more than half of the homes that just sold reduced their price by an average of $33,000. So Daun, what are your thoughts of the market right now? Like, what are you seeing? Something similar
I would say this is the trickiest market we've had to navigate. The last 3 years have been unprecedented. And so what I'm seeing is actually buyer confidence coming back as interest rates stabilize. So I'm noticing a lot more buyers out there, but the inventory still remains low. It's almost like a log jam happening. People are nervous about listing their house because they're wondering where they're going to go. And so inventory still remains low. We still have a lot of people moving into our market. I know in the pandemic we had a lot more, but there are still a lot of buyers moving here.
Glen, what are you seeing with any of the buyers that you're working right now?
I think it's much the same as what Daun just said. I mean, some of them, of course, are sitting on their hands waiting to see which way things are going to go. And you've got buyers hoping prices are going down. You've got sellers hoping prices are going up. So we've kind of got a bit of a stalemate happening. But it's certainly a wait and see. They're definitely feeling confident. There's no question about that. I've got some of that. And it all depends upon what part of the market that they're shopping in as well, right? Mm-hmm. Because, I've got some first-time people who are saying, we don't have quite the financial resources that we want right now, so we want to sit on our jobs and they're going to continue to rent. I've got some others that only want to buy new, and of course, trying to find something new out there today is a problem at any price point. But when I look at the market, I see there's quite a problem in the 400 to 675 price range, and by problem I mean zero inventory. That's a major issue because 54% of the inventory, based on the research that I did, is priced at $699.9 and up. When you've got the average price right now sitting somewhere in the low fives, depending upon what it is that you're searching for, that's a disconnect there. There's quite an imbalance in what our inventory actually is compared to what the market needs. And I think that's why our numbers are off compared to, because I too went back and I went back 20 years and I'm looking at my other screen over here. We go back into 2010 for the period of January 1st to February 7th, there were 438 sales that month.
I know, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Right?
And when you are looking at the new construction and you're talking about the price, I know, well, when I did a search the other day, now I don't know what it was for 2022, but the average household income for Halifax was sitting in around $85,000 to $90,000. And that's a property that's under 500,000. Like that's more probably mid 400s that someone can purchase. And that's very difficult right now in our market. Like one of my teammates today is going to go look at a mobile home listed at 325,000 for a mobile home. So I mean, back in the day, you know, in 2010, our average house price was 265-ish, right?
Mhm.
Daun, are you at your brokerage? Are you seeing, because I feel I'm seeing it a lot, are you seeing any offers that are pending sale of a seller's property? Are you seeing
They
any of
just,
those right now?
yeah, they're just entering back into our market. I hadn't seen one in about 3 years. And now we're starting to see them on our properties. So, lots of new things popping up again. And so, yes, definitely seeing that. And I would have to agree with Glen about under 500 for those, that market.
But I mean, you can't build a home for that much, unfortunately, unless it's a small footprint, right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
So anything, you know, the agents are struggling right now to, they don't want to list the house until they have a sale under offer. And so that's what's happening. Buyers and sellers need that confidence back. They need to see the inventory come up. They need places to go. They need places to move. And it would be helpful for everyone just to list their house so we'd have some inventory to sell.
Yeah, no, I agree. But when you're looking at the prices, Glen, how, you know, I was doing a CMA the other day in Sackville, and this one particular house, I'm thinking, okay, we should list in around 479 because in the last 60 days, houses similar size, similar make, etc. You know, they were selling between 449 and let's say, you know, 489. And I saw homes that were listed like similar that were still on the market. I think the average in the market was 48 days. And in Sackville, which shocked me, it was 63 days when I did it. And like one house was on the market like for 240 days. Like if you didn't sell at 590, like, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, are sellers still listing high? Are the agents listing high? What is it that, you know, you've been seeing, Glen?
I guess I'll go back in history again, and what have seen historically is that about 55% of what came to market pre-pandemic is what was selling, right? So I think this concept of overpricing has always been there in the market. I don't think it's anything new, but what I do think is also happening is that we've become very price sensitive, and our expectations are high. So any property that sits on the market, you know, more than 2 weeks now, it's, oh my God, you know, that place has got to be overpriced. So, you know, there's something seriously wrong with it and it has to be priced. So, I think as things are starting to normalize a little bit, we're starting to see properties sit on the market a little bit longer now, and some are selling and some are not. And I think as agents, we have to adjust our minds to that as well.
Do you see the market in the spring, Dawn, coming back with competitive offers? Like, you know, when we have, I know I'm getting calls now for military moves. Do you feel that that will happen again?
It's already happening. A few of the properties that I've shown in the last week have had multiple offers. And so I think it's an early start to our spring. Our market's been too stagnant. It was so flat, and there wasn't a lot of activity happening until the interest rates came under control. Now that they're stabilized, there's, you know, buyers are out there making offers. They're a lot more confident in what the interest rates are doing. And right now you can get an interest rate under 5%. So those buyers are back into the market and they're making offers. So I think the spring market has had an early start.
Now, what price point did you see that there were competitive offers? Because we were just involved in one ourselves, and it was around 500 and change, and we wanted just by mere $25,000 over asking. So what price point were you seeing?
I have seen it under 400 and under the 500 bracket. So yeah, I guess under the 500 bracket, still having competing offers.
And how far over asking are your buyers going, or have your sellers seen?
The offers that we've made, they'll go up to about 25,000 over. But I mean, last year we were seeing quite a significant increase of what people were willing to put on paper. But you know, when you see the sale prices, they're not as crazy as last year. So I would say that they're in that 25 to 50,000 over, depending on the price bracket.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of my stats now here on my other screen, Glen. So out of the 151 homes that sold, we had 5 homes that sold between 50,000 and 99,000 over asking, 7 between 25 and 49,000, and 27 between $1 and 24,000 over asking, and 16 sold at asking price, and 96 would have sold under asking price. Do you think, Glenn, that we're going to get back to, the outrageous days when you want to get this house like it's $100,000 over asking?
I hope not. But you asked me, do I think? No, I don't. I think the big wave of influx of people coming here from other provinces in Canada, I think we've got those numbers now, and I don't think we're going to have that big push. We'll always have some, but I don't think. I think we're going to stabilize some. At least that's my hope.
Yeah, I mean, we are still a seller's market just because of the low inventory that we have, but it's a buyer mentality because, Atlantic Canadians, we're in no rush. We'll get to it. Like, I don't like that one. I'll just hold off. But I feel the longer someone holds off, the prices are going up, and to sit on the sidelines and wait, the prices aren't dropping, they're not dropping to what they were in, 2019. We're not going back there. They've, from each January, from 2020 to 21, 22, 23, from January 2020 to now, the houses, based on the month of January only, has gone up by 12%. We're not going backwards.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about, give me your opinion on this, Dawn. The only room that you really have on negotiation are, homes that are, well over $1 million. There's always room there, but there's not a lot of room to negotiate when you're under the 500,000, 500,000 price point.
No, it's too competitive. And, there might be a few items that come up on home inspection or something like that, but, they're fairly minor. And that's typically what you're negotiating on once you get the deal in place.
Yeah, so I just did one week and a half ago. It was actually covers a lot of the bases of what we've been talking about here. It was listed at $650. There was an SOBP in place. We came along, wrote the offer, bumped the SOBP out. Our price, even though, and we were in competition when we did that as well, and we still got it slightly below the $650 mark. Did the inspection, did some other things. Mind you, there was a lot of errors in that particular listing cut, and we got an additional $13,000 off of the price.
Nice.
Which blew me away. Did not expect that.
That's wow. So during the pandemic, we would have seen a lot of offers that would have went through with no conditions. Do you think we're going to get back to that point, or have you already seen that done?
No, I don't think we're going to go back to that. There's some, horror stories that came out of that in terms of people waiving their conditions and not being happy with the house after the fact. So I think that you'll still see the conditions within the offers. I think it's buyers do deserve to have that due diligence. And I think you'll continue to see those clauses in there.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to list a house now, and there was no septic inspection, there was no water inspection, and I'm like, how did you guys not, like, even if you forego the inspection, like, you didn't bother to check the septic? I was surprised that their agent advised them not to check the water or septic, and it was, he's going through buyer remorse now. Do you think we'll see a lot of that coming up maybe this year? Buyer remorse, people who would have moved here, from other parts of Canada, wherever, like, they don't want to be here anymore. They just want to sell. Do you think we'll have any of that?
I also think that's starting to happen more and more now. I've heard stories of people going back to Ontario. They are getting called back for work. So they have to be back in office. And so I think you'll see a lot of, not a lot, but a few of those homes that were sold during the pandemic rush go back.
And for you, Glenn, so there's a big talk, when, people now, they have to, they're coming up and refinancing their mortgages. The mortgage rate is a little bit higher than what they would have had back, say, 3 years ago or 5 years ago when they're up for renewal. Do you see people thinking that, you know what, now the rate is where it is, and my rate used to be 1.5 or whatever. I want to have a lifestyle and I don't want to be house poor. I want to sell this house and maybe move into a smaller house because it's important for me to keep the lifestyle that I have. And I don't want my money going toward mortgages. Do you think any of that will happen, or people are just going to stay put because some of their mortgage is paid off, or will they have, they want to give back to a particular lifestyle per se?
I think you're going to see some of that for sure, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of it. In my mind, the stress test, of course, what they had to pass is now the rate that they're going to have to pay, right? So financially, in theory, they're able to pay what they're being asked to pay today. And then the other problem becomes to try to find a home that is equivalent in what it's offering, albeit smaller, but same quality, is going to be a problem for them, right? And I don't know that people will, when push comes to shove, that they'll want to sacrifice the quality of the home that they work so hard to get. So yeah, I don't know.
I see that too. And Daun, do you think that, there's other talk on the street as well? Oh, you know what? People are going to go into foreclosure, so they're going to have to sell their house because they can't afford the higher rates. Do you think that's going to be a big thing here?
No, I agree with Glen on the stress test. Canada is very picky on mortgages, and you do have to pass that stress test. They always qualify you at a much higher rate. So I think we're safe in that respect. I know a lot of people have, if you're in a variable rate, that has really increased what your monthly payment is. Yeah. And so I think that for the most part, we have lots of employment here in Nova Scotia. Jobs are safe. And I also think that, because of our stress tests, we'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I'm actually looking forward to the market. I know we've all had a slow start, and it's just now like my phones are ringing and I'm excited. I can't wait for 2023 to start, and it's just starting now. So it's, I'm really looking forward to this year. I don't think it's going to be the doom and gloom as it started off with at the beginning. Hey, Glen, how about yourself? Do you think so?
No, I agree, Sandra. Yeah, it's of course it's a good attitude, right? And the self-fulfilling prophecy. So look at it from a positive perspective. But I think by the time we get to mid-year, we'll forget this type of conversation.
Yes. Right? No, we'll be talking about, my God, did you see that house in Sackville going for $200,000 over asking? I'll be getting on that train again.
I also think we all needed a rest. I mean, the last 2 years had just been crazy and everyone was burnt out. I think that everyone needed that rest, and it was nice that the market was quiet. It was nice that we could catch up with people and connect with people again. We had such a rushed market that it was hard to make those connections. And I've been really enjoying connecting with my clients again and going out for lunch with friends to connect. So, the slowdown wasn't a terrible thing. And I think that it was important for everyone to kind of get recharged and excited to be working again. So I was glad for the break.
Yeah,
even for our buyers, I think, right? Because when you're writing offers and you're going out and you're seeing properties and you can't get anything, they were getting burnt out. So I think this break has allowed them to recharge a bit as well, and hopefully they'll come back to the market with new energy as well. So we're ready. They have to be too.
Great mindset, and it's bring about what you think about. If you're going to think negative, that's all you're going to get. And if you're thinking break, you're thinking recharge. And, you're welcoming the 2023 market. And that's how I am too. So I think that's a great attitude to have, guys. So I won't take up much of your time now, but I really appreciate you jumping on with me here today.
No problem. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.